there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and we are streaming for the first time since the brand new Kickstarter is up. We are working on a map that I guess kind of has probably been in the back of my mind for a little bit now, and we're specifically doing it because Rihanna was cold today and she wanted a warm map. So we are going to be working on this map because we're running the Kickstarter today, and there's a good chance that nobody's going to see this in time to make a huge impact. But one of the things that we were going to do was for every 25 day one backers, every backer was going to get an additional 5 maps. We have 28 backers at this point, so we're going to be doing 5 more maps for everybody. They might not all be done by me. I might recruit my brother or one of the other artists that are working with us, but we'll definitely, share the load if I can't do it all myself. I do have a couple of other maps that I was thinking about kind of bundling into this. So, but yeah, the Kickstarter's already doing pretty well. We funded in just 2 hours, and we've got 29 days to go. So we've got a lot of potential to see this campaign go really far, because we have stretch goals that are a lot more attractive, I think, than last time around. And I think that's because most of the stretch goals that we had last time are built into the campaign this time. So I think the main thing that everybody wants from this campaign is just more maps. So why not give them to people if we can? We just did another update. It's part of the update that I posted. We're about here with our next stretch goal, because we're looking for 700, and we're at 628. So we need maybe about 9 more backers at the $8 level tonight, and then we'll be looking good, and we'll have our first stretch goals to show off. And I'm very excited to be doing that. But let's drop out of the Kickstarter for a second. We're going to come back here. So we're doing kind of like a volcanic sacrifice map instead of returning to Dragonhenge or anything like that. I'll try and do some of those things off of stream just to, have them done and everything like that. But I wanted to, work on something that was a little new, and gave me a little bit of room to kind of play around with stuff. So we are going to play around with this right now. You're seeing I'm kind of mapping out like the positioning of things. So I have like a very vague template of what I'm looking for here, but I'm going to be working it out in a kind of different way. I want to try and not have this just be like, hey, I let the map decide what size it is and things like that. I'm kind of inspired by, you always see like the volcano sacrifice things in movies and stuff like that. You're welcome, Rihanna. She says, thank you for doing something warm for me. You always see these kind of maps in fiction and stuff like that, and I'm specifically thinking of, there's a scene in Curse of Monkey Island where Guybrush Threepwood goes to visit the cannibals who are about to make their sacrifice. So that's kind of what I picture. I'm going to try and make it a little bit different than that. We already have our one Monkey Island inspired map. So I don't think that we're going to do it quite the same way as they do. Theirs kind of is like zigzaggy and stuff like that, but I do want to make it a little bit different. You also kind of have like the volcanic, the Mount Doom kind of structure, and you see what those look like. So I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to mess with kind of like size 5s. So you'll see we've got 5 tiles. It's about 25 feet. So what we're going to do is turn this sideways here, and about that much is what we're going to be using. So we're going to be cutting that down somewhat. I think what we'll do is, actually, I might have gone too far. No, that's pretty good. So we're going to have it so that it's not dead center. We're going to have it go out across these. So let's do this over here now. We've got 1, 2, 3 and a half, and then we've got, here's the half, 1, 2, 3. So here is where I want to move that piece over now. And then we need the 10 over here. So you don't need anything like super symmetrical or anything, but I do want it to look a little bit cleaner. All right, so we're going to come back up to the mask options and we're going to subtract some stuff out because we do know that right there we're trying to build this up into right about there. And then the whole reason that we're doing it like that is we're trying to make sure that the players have a decent amount of room to do whatever they need to do down here as well as up here. So instead of having it end, you know, this far down, we'll probably have it go up a little bit further. So we've got room for 15. So we'll have it kind of, actually that's not too bad right there. But let's do 2 more anyway. And I can't see that at all, so we're going to change the color of this one to, maybe green is not the right one either. But what I can do is make it bigger. Okay, so we've got that, and that's kind of like all of our points where we know we're going to be building out from. So let's do an add real quick. So we'll add that. And then let's take this away. And we know that we're going to end up, oop, just realized that I'm not doing that subtraction the right way. Because I do want to keep it this kind of like star subtraction, this multi-point subtraction. Okay. And we'll probably build that back up a little bit, but we'll get there when we get there. Oop. Don't need all that. I should be going from the other side. Okay, and let's move that brush size down somewhat. Oop. Rihanna says, add some more ridges. It looks like a uvula. We shall do that for you, Rihanna. Oop, we're adding and we're supposed to be subtracting. Let's go to this little guy here. And we'll use that to have a little bit more precision with what we're doing. That was before you started playing with the shape. So, okay. So things are looking better now. This is going to change too because we're going to be, you know, putting cliffs and stuff like that too. It's tough to like imagine how things are going to look early on. So we are going to kind of tweak things a little bit. All right. So we know that these little bits here, we can kind of subtract a little bit more. So let's do a little smidge more. A little smidge more. Add a little smidge more here. All right, so we got a good starting point. Now I'm on the journey to see your vision through. All right, so let's do, we're still working on the foreground over here. I think that's the only spot that we actually needed to do any extra foreground. So we've got that, and let's go back to the background. Now right now, I mean, the brush for, like the texture brush for the lava is kind of all over the place. There's not like a lot of differentiating anything in there. We're going to do something real quick with the hell pack just to make it look a little bit different. Oh, help if I had the number lock on. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of blending into some of this. Oh, it would help if I was on the... No, I am on the right layer, aren't I? I am. All I'm doing is just darkening some of it. And what we're going to end up doing is having some kind of like floating magma at some point. I feel like this is not going to do what we want it to, but we'll see. Actually, doesn't look too terrible. Again, anything to kind of like remove that sense of repeating patterns. So we'll do that, and let's grab the slightly brighter one as well. All right, and then we're going to know if this is going to look right. We'll try it out. I feel like I went one tiny step too far. Let's leave that alone for now, just because we do know that we're going to be removing some of that. We don't really need these pads anymore. So let's do a save because we're close to 100. And then let's start working on our cliffs, I guess. I think we're going to do cliffs that are a little bit different than how we usually do them. Because I don't like using the same cliffs every time, and I think on top of that, let's just do a test real quick. Ooh. Oh, that's fine. So we usually use these cliffs here, or actually we use the terrain ones. Did they end up in dungeons? So much changed in the way that these are thrown out there. Yeah, there's they moved them, so it's in dungeons now. It's a little bit wonky, but so we usually try and bring this scale down to like 30 when we're working on it. So it pretty much stays in theme with like the color pattern and everything that we would want. And we could mess with the clipping mask if we needed to. But I don't think we're going to use this one because, again, we use it a lot, and I want to try and get away from using the same style every single time. Now, we are learning a new technique with the map that we're doing for the Dragon Henge. Let's try and see real quick if we can kind of utilize something similar. So these rocks might not entirely do what we want them to, but I think they're not going to do what we need them to. Let's turn off the mask effect. Using this gray ground over here, and let's make sure we're working on the background, I guess, at this point. Doesn't look like it's doing what I want it to. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit more blending that we can put in. So this is blending a little bit of the foreground into a little bit of the background. I think maybe we could get it to work. Maybe. But I think it didn't help that we started off with like lighter stone down there. If we wanted to, we would have had to have made it like a darker stone. So, but I think for what we were trying to do, this might actually do what we need it to. So let's take a step back and get these back on. We're going to bring it back to this level where we have the rock, but nothing actually stamped down yet. Let's grab this one more time and see if we're messing with the brightness. Let's bring it down to like 55. Oop. And let's keep on grabbing more of those stones and we'll try it one more time. We'll kind of randomize the positioning and that'll help a little bit to determine how these cliffs are going to look. We're going to test with these ones, and then we'll see what it looks like when we do the other stuff up there. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Let's turn off the mask effects one more time. So we've got that. Let's do a little bit of what we were doing before. We'll blend it a little bit better maybe. And let's do 40%. Maybe in like certain places we'll do like a darker palette. So we really just need it on like this top layer. I think that blends in really well. It kind of disguises the fact that it's not an actual cliff there. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the foreground layer and we're going to make it darker and we're going to do it in the opposite spots. So let's bring it to like 66 and then maybe around like here. Am I on the back? Yeah, I'm in the foreground now. So we're darkening it in the spots that we can. Okay, maybe like a little bit in spots like these. And we're going to add cracks and stuff like that too, so it'll help sell the idea even more. But we do know that at least there, along these lines, we want them a little bit darker. And then we're going to need to do more of that kind of stuff up there too. this one a little bit better, I feel like. There we go. It's looking nice. And let's do a little bit more up here. Actually, let's do some of the darker one here. Blend that in there. Excuse me. Go back to some of the background here and blend that in a little bit better. Alright, I feel like that's a good start. Let's keep on. Oh. Something happened there, or is it just a glitch? Let's do a save and we'll step back out and back in. Nope, it's actually there. Something that needs to be cleaned up, it looks like. Okay, there we go. Let's get some more rocks in there. Let's actually break these down to maybe like 50. So we can be a little bit more precise with it. So I just wanted to mention, I probably wouldn't use this technique generally because you lose control when you're doing things like this. And it's not the best being able to correct things. This is definitely a little bit different than what you'll see a lot of people doing, I'm sure. I feel like that's okay. We're just having fun here. Just playing around. Alright. We built out our little cliff over here. So let's grab all these and we're going to do the same thing we just did. Let's throw them to the background. One more time. I want to try and give it a little bit more presence. So let's do this. We're going to group these all. And now they'll grow at the same size. And now let's see what they look like when they're flattened. Just a tiny smidge more. Craggy looking stuff over here so we can mess with certain things. Let's do this in the background one more time. We might actually end up moving some of this stuff completely out. Oh, it would help if I was blending and not just completely drawing over. Where that looks like it could go. Okay, and let's see. A little bit more in that area. Let's actually see what we can do about subtracting some of this back. You know what, we're going to be a little bit more precise about it. So let's try and figure this out just a tiny smidge more. We're going to add it back in somewhat of the same way. Hi Luna, you okay? You upset because there's no blankets up here? Alright, let's add that back. We'll blend it in there and there. Yeah, all these places have... Yep, perfect. Oh, Rihanna said Luna had some pumpkin ice cream. As long as she doesn't lose the pumpkin ice cream up here, that's the important part. Alright, let's do a little bit more of this blending. You go, Luna. Oh, definitely over here. Let's do a little bit more darkness over on this side. Blend that in a little bit. And let's see, perhaps a little bit more down here too. Gotta do some more background work over here perhaps. Alright, and let's do a little bit of subtraction over here. Actually, I don't even think I have to do much after that. And we'll take a little bit back over here too. Maybe a little bit more darkness over on this side. A little bit more lightness over on this side. Let's subtract some over here. See if we can make that end up looking any better. Action here. Let's actually do a little bit more of that color there too. 245 changes is a decent amount. So yeah, let's do a save. So definitely different kinds of cliffs than we usually do. I think that it ended up looking pretty good so far. And using kind of a spin-off of the technique that we were using for the map that we were doing for Dragonhenge. Instead of using clipping masks, we're just using the flatten the background. And I think that it's doing a decent job. I think once we throw some more elements on here, you know what, let's do the easiest one that we can probably do right now is the cracked ground. So let's grab some of that real quick. Oop. Let's go to a 50 texture scale. A little bit more blending needed there, I think. Pretty much everything from like that little star destroyer up there, we're gonna have a little bit of extra. I want things to look precarious. Okay, and we're gonna actually go to the background and let's drop it down to like 40. Even though these are rocks, we're gonna make them look a little bit like they're damaged as well. And then this will help it to look a little less like the actual rocks that we usually get. A little bit more like their own thing. Okay, I mean, really not too much that we ended up doing. In fact, the cool thing about this map so far is that, technically speaking, there is not a single object on the map because we flattened everything. It is a flat image. There's 0 objects. I mean, in theory, you could do that with anything. You could put any stamp you wanted, but I think to some extent that would be cheating. In this case, it was a technique that we were using, and I think we put it together pretty well. So again, my thought process here is we're doing a little bit of Monkey Island inspiration. And they had the cannibals. We're not going to be doing cannibals. What we're going to be doing is some orc stuff. Because when I'm thinking about like the heads on pikes and stuff that they had, I feel like we've got some stuff here that would end up doing what we needed to. We've got these hanging skulls. And then we got these stake fences. I think we can use these kind of together. We might be changing the colors a little bit, but we'll see. Well, I'll tell you what, we don't need hanging skulls. We can find our own. Is that the only one? Guess we're using the one from the Wizards. No, there's got to be another one somewhere. For terrain. feel like I'm definitely missing something. Well, play with this for now, and then if we find something else later, we'll use that instead. Alright, so we said we were going to try and change the color scheme with this a little bit. We'll make it like 65, a little bit more contrasty. Yeah, let's try like 125 and mess with the saturation a little bit, make it look a little bit darker. Maybe we could do the same thing with the skulls, make it look like the ash in the place has been messing with these things as well. So the nice thing is these things kind of, they'll help to, you know, bring like the set piece together and make it look a little bit more, you know, how you might want it to. But it'll also provide the players a little bit of a safety net should they get into a battle up here or something like that. They can, instead of getting thrown into the volcano, they can, you know, grab hold of something like this. There is a noise that Luna made, but I'm not sure if it came from her mouth or her butt. We're going to listen because she made it again, but I don't know where it came from. Where did it come from, Luna? Well, she's gone, but the evidence may remain. Could have been the pumpkin ice cream. Ooh, and we don't even need, well, we've got body parts on every one of these. So I'll tell you what, this is just this, but with a little bit of extra stuff. So we're going to grab this, bring it over, and then we'll alternate, and they'll look a little nicer. So small. That's weird. I'm not sure why those changed. Let's scooch those over a bit. Oh, and I'm just noticing that we got a little bit of grass down there too. So let's go back to our foreground and snirp, snirp. We just all the way. Alrighty. So we spent, you know, about the 45 minutes. This turned out looking pretty good. Oh, Rihanna said the mystery is half the fun, and I'm pretty sure she was talking about Luna farts. So this is a good start for our map for the you know, one of the bonus 5 that we're doing for the daily backers, or the day 1 backers, I should say. this is what we'll do is we'll stop for here, and we'll pick this up either tomorrow, or it'll be something that we're continuing to do on the back end. But it was a good first day for the Kickstarter. It looks like things are still going. I saw a couple things pop up while I was making maps, so we're still in good shape. And then maybe when we wake up tomorrow, we'll be able to announce that the $700 stretch goal has been reached. But that's going to be it for now. Let's head over to the show closing page. So folks, on the screen right now, you can go to Tellest.com to go to any of our, well, my brain is rotting, and I don't know why. You can go to www.tellest.com to go to our website. That'll usually bring you to our other projects. We have the Kickstarter link directly there, so it'll be right on your left sidebar. Probably the easiest way to get to the Kickstarter at this point. There's a couple of premium sites that they're not as premium for the entirety of the time that we're using the Kickstarter, because you're going to be getting the best deals through the Kickstarter. But after the Kickstarter, if you're watching this video in the future and you're looking for the best deal, patreon.com/Tellest will bring you to the place that you can sign up for our digital maps, probably the cheapest. Drive-through RPG is pretty cheap too, but that's kind of like a la carte, so that's battlemapfantasy.com. That'll bring you to our profile page. If you want physical versions of our maps, you can go to tellest.etsy.com. That's a great place for you to get those, in addition to things like stickers from the Tellest universe, bookmarks, our tabletop game, our art book, and Rihanna's magic wands. You can also find her magic wands on TikTok at Weird Witch Wands, and you can find our dogs on TikTok at Tales of Tellest. There's two other places that you should check us out if you're not already checking us out on that platform. YouTube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you're going to be able to find all of our content after it's knocked off of Twitch, so you'll be able to see our entire backlog. But twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the only place that you can come to check us out live, earn your quest coins, all that good stuff. So make sure you check us out here on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and occasionally Thursdays. And then whenever I want to play video games as well. But that's going to be it for today. It was a good first map for the Kickstarter, and yeah, we'll have a good time, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, I miss you.